had my Rotary moment years ago, but I had my firefighter moment on May 25th of this year. As I watched the horrific events of that day unfold on television, I felt chills running down my spine. This just could not be happening. I saw some of the folks we had dinner with that night, the night before at Fire Station 8, and there they were fighting the fire. I saw them loading their fallen comrades onto the ambulance, and I saw others sitting on the curb, overcome by the smoke and the heat. That event was my firefighter moment. It was then that I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I would do everything in my power to move this project forward. Firefighters are always there for us, always. And now we have a way to give back to them, to have their back, to cover their back, to protect them to the degree that is humanly possible. As I watched that fire, I was reminded that cancer is one of the most common work-related injuries from which they suffer. And I could see how they could get cancer from breathing in all those carcinogens in the air of that very fire. That smoke was black and oily, and they were sitting on the curb where they'd taken off their helmets and that, and breathing in all of that stuff, fighting the fire, doing their job. On September 11th of this year, Phil and I were invited to join the firefighters at Heffley's for a few beers. And we visited with two firefighters who were in town from New York City. One of them, Michael, had been in New York City on 9/11 and had been one of the guys that you saw digging through the rubble. We talked about the firefighters' home, and casually, he said he'd probably be there sometime soon. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, "Irene, I will get cancer from being there on 9/11. We had no mask, no gloves, and no protection. But we had a job to do, and we were doing it. My guys and I talked about the risk we were taking. We knew the fate we were accepting. I haven't been diagnosed with cancer yet, but I know it's coming." That's a powerful confession. We are fortunate enough to live in the fourth largest city in America, which is home to the largest medical center in the world, the Texas Medical Center. And that world-renowned medical center is home to MD Anderson Cancer Hospital. If you are a firefighter and you need medical treatment, then Houston and the Texas Medical Center is where you want to be. As Ernie said, my favorite quote is from Margaret Mead: "Never believe that a few caring people can't change the world, for indeed that's all who ever have." And that is exactly what this project is all about. To the firefighting community, to all of you in this room, we want you to know that our Rotary Firefighters Home will be there for you. The Rotary community will be there for you. Together we will do this. Together we are unstoppable. Thank you.
Our next speaker has a personal story to share with you. It's Captain Bonnie Richter. She's a 17 and a half year veteran. She's a paramedic and has been since entering the fire department. She's enjoyed being a member of the HFD bike team and has been since its inception, and the bike team provides care for our citizens during special events. She's currently assigned downtown while she currently undergoes her own treatment. Please welcome her.
These guys are used to speaking, I'm not, so bear with me. I made myself some notes so I don't get off track. Those who know me know I like to talk a lot. If you haven't been through it, then you don't know how you would react. There is some mystery and some fascination to it. With the diagnosis of cancer, your mind floods with emotions and what ifs, and flashes of what is important and what comes next. I'm sure many of you have family that has been through a diagnosis of cancer, loved ones or friends. I know I have. My journey with cancer began in 2006 when my oldest sister was diagnosed with breast cancer. Shelley is now a 7.5-year survivor. So I've been through this on both sides. On Friday, March 1st, a little before noon, I received a call that told me I had breast cancer. Y'all want to know how it felt? What did I go through? What were my first thoughts? What my first thoughts were, honestly, were what everybody else's life was going to be like when I wasn't around. Because that's what everybody has always believed cancer was. It was a death sentence. Thank God it's not that way anymore. My other thoughts were, I'm not finished yet. I've worked 17 and a half years. I'm almost there to get my pension and get my retirement. All these plans that I had thought I was going to do once I retired. And we see things that people go through. We take care of people in the field that, they die in car accidents. The reality is there in front of us every single day. But you still hesitate and don't apply it to your own life. I was worried I would become a distant memory. Some say that in getting cancer, there's some blessing to it. The only blessing I can see maybe is that it does change how you see things. It does strengthen your faith. And so after my diagnosis, my journey began. There were lots of needles. I went through multiple mammograms. I went through abdominal scans, bone scans. Then my oncologist told me, we found spots on your liver. We found 3 spots. You're going to have a liver biopsy. And some of the things that we deal with out in the field, we know it's probably too many details, but I remember them having me sign a piece of paper that said, in case we nick your lung, we need you to sign for a chest tube. Strange thing is, I wasn't all that worried about it because I already knew I'd have some drugs on board and I would be really relaxed and it wasn't going to hurt me even if they did have to do that. But it did kind of freak out my family. So then came the surgery and physical therapy and chemotherapy and chemotherapy and chemotherapy. I have been going through chemotherapy for 6 months and my last treatment was last Monday. My oncologist told me it would take me about 6 months to get my stamina back. I could never have gone through everything that I went through and kept such a positive attitude without the support of my family, my firefighter family, and my friends. For those of you who don't know me, who I am as a firefighter, I was the captain of the station that really motivated the guys to go run. We ran stairs together, we ran towers together every day that we were on duty. I was always joking with our cook, can you please try to cook something a little bit healthier? So when this happened to me, I think it was one of those things in my mindset was that I was meant to be an example, because anybody can get cancer. Cancer doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care who you are, what color you are. It just, you see the people down at MD Anderson, it's overwhelming. So I was the one that felt I was somehow letting the guys down when I had to tell them. I had a brand new rookie, he was about halfway through his phase testing, and I had to tell him, I'm sorry, I have to leave you guys. And I'm very blessed, they've continued to check through on me the whole time. They all wanted to shave their heads for me. But somehow I felt like I was letting them down, and it was really, really difficult thing for me to have to tell them what was going on. I'm lucky because I live here in Houston. I was able to be here and be around my support group, being around my family, people, and places that were familiar to me. This Rotary House offers that to people who, they're not going to have that. They might have a spouse with them, their children may come in and out, but to have something that is familiar to you. And firemen, we spend our lives, we have that second family, we spend our lives there with them. This is something that would give them, creature comforts are really important when you're going through this. I am so happy that I can go home to my 4-legged creatures at home and snuggle up and have someone that I know that's always going to be there. And so y'all really need to understand that this is a really cool and very big thing that y'all are doing. As firefighters, we're often regarded as being strong and brave, and we're called heroes. And I've been told so many times, you're so strong. I don't know how you do it. We're honored to play that role. That's what we do for a living. We're honored to play that role and part and be there for you. And thanks to all of the people that are getting into this vision and helping out. we're glad that they could be there for us.